5 picks to win $10,000. That's what we're going to be going through on Underdog Fantasy. So, Underdog Fantasy, if you're a PrizePicks person, you should sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Why? You may be wondering, they're the exact same thing. No, they're not. And the reason they're not is any 3-pick entry, what you'll notice is on PrizePicks, you're getting 20 to win 100, right? Now on Underdog Fantasy, you're getting 20 to win 120. So you get better payouts on Underdog Fantasy, right? PrizePicks, they may have a cleaner interface, whatever, but they offer worse payouts. So I'll still be doing some videos on PrizePicks, but most of my videos are going to be on Underdog Fantasy because, again, like making money sports betting isn't that easy. So when you go from getting plus 400 odds to plus 500 odds on a 3-pick entry, it's really meaningful, right? And we've gone through the math kind of behind PrizePicks, Underdog, how their lines work, all that sort of stuff previously. So I won't dwell on it, but there will be a video in the end screen kind of breaking down PrizePicks strategy, Underdog strategy, the math behind these platforms, how their payouts work. All of that will be covered kind of in other videos that I'll put in the end screen. But what we're going to talk about here is how I'm going to turn 500 bucks into 10 grand. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. So again, OddsJam, has real-time odds from every major sportsbook, that you can probably imagine in your location, as well as PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy. So why that's super useful is as a sharp bettor, right, you're always looking for value, right? You're always looking for value. You're always looking for an edge, as it's called. So you can browse odds completely for free on OddsJam. So if you bet on sports as well as playing on, kind of Underdog Fantasy and PrizePicks, you can browse odds on OddsJam 100% for free. And that's super useful because you're able to see where can I get the best possible line, right? Like if you want to bet on, Salvador Perez to get a hit, you for sure should not be betting on him, at minus 290 on DraftKings when you could be getting minus 250 on FanDuel. Again, it's possible to make money sports gambling, but if you're placing bets, at minus 290 when another sportsbook in your location is offering minus 250, you're screwed, right? Sports betting is all about finding value, finding discrepancies in the odds, finding those rare opportunities where PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy are slipping up. Right? You should not go into a specific day with, I want to bet on Salvador Perez to get a hit. Rather, if there's an opportunity that has a lot of value to bet on Salvador Perez to get a hit, then you can play it. But otherwise, you shouldn't, right? Because you shouldn't, right? You're not smarter than the sportsbooks in the betting market. Your only chance of winning long term is finding discrepancies in the odds that are clearly profitable bets. So you can browse odds on OddsJam completely for free. And the first pick I'm going to end up going with is Hunter over half of a hit in the Royals-Mariners game. So just Hunter to get a hit, right? Why do we love this bet? Again, I am a profitable bettor, right? I am someone who focuses on data. My background is I was a quant on Wall Street. I studied math, computer science, and all that matters in terms of gambling. You're not going to beat, the NFL or MLB, you're not going to beat the sports books by watching highlight reels. That's not, the people who make money sports betting, that's not who they are. They're the people who have software, who are looking for value in the market, inefficiencies, and bets they can take advantage of. So what we've gone through in previous videos is kind of that a 5-pick entry on Underdog Fantasy. Based on the payout, it comes out to, you'll see it's 20 to win 400. So 20 to win 400, 20 to win 380 in profit, plus your $20 stake back. That's plus 1,900 odds, right? So based on the fact that on Underdog Fantasy, any 5-pick entry is plus 1,900 odds, the implied juice that you're getting charged on 5-pick entries, as well as 3-pick entries, is minus 122. So the implied juice, implied odds, whatever you want to think about it, in a 3-pick and 5-pick entry on Underdog Fantasy is minus 122, which is objectively better than a 2-pick entry where you're getting the implied odds of minus 137. So when possible, you should be trying to place 3-pick entries on Underdog. They're much better than 3-pick power plays on PrizePicks. And they're a lot better than 2-pick entries on PrizePicks or Underdog, right? The implied odds are better. The math we've gone through tons of other times, should show that to you, that, you want to be playing ideally 3 or 5 picks on Underdog Fantasy. That is optimal. PrizePicks 5 flex are a little more complicated, so I'd recommend avoiding them if you're starting out. Starting with 3-pick and 5-pick Underdog entries and just blindly selecting bets you like from the positive EV page, right? So what's so fascinating about PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy is neither of these platforms vary payouts depending on if you select the overs or the unders, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you select, you'll notice your payout never changes, which is very weird, right? Because in terms of, as a sports bettor, I'm used to thinking in terms of odds, price, right? So essentially, because, PrizePicks and Underdog, they don't vary your payout or the odds, depending on if you select the over or the under or what pick you select. What that means is, they believe every pick is the same probability of occurring, which is just completely false, right? Like, if they're giving you the same payout for the over and the under, that means that Underdog Fantasy, their sportsbook or DFS operator company, whatever you want to call it, is implying that the over and the under are equally likely to hit for every single outcome, which of course isn't true, but that's the way this platform works, right? Because it's very simple, which is why people like it, is it's very simple to use. It's just like, oh, I'm betting 20 to win 60 regardless of what I select. But in reality, all of these outcomes have different probabilities of occurring, which you can see in sportsbooks, right? Like for Hunter Dozier, him recording a hit is a lot more likely than him not recording a hit, which is why all the sportsbooks have the over heavily juiced, right? So we definitely want to be playing, this is currently the highest profit margin bet on Underdog. We should definitely be playing this at minus 122 in a 3-pick or a 5-pick. It doesn't look as good in a 2-pick entry. Avoid it in a 2-pick. 3-pick, 5-pick on Underdog, get it minus 122. Ridiculous value, right? So if we go to DraftKings, we can build this parlay kind of along with it. So we'll go here, we'll go to hits, and we'll go to Dozier. So that's the first play we have. Boom. Next play we have Carlos under 7.5 strikeouts, right? Once again, the under is heavily juiced, and that's because the sportsbooks think it's a lot more likely to occur than the over is, right? Sportsbooks imply win probabilities through their odds, right? On BetOnline, you have to bet $145 on the under to win back $100. On the over, if you were to bet $145, you'd be winning like $160, right? Sportsbooks give you less of a payout for outcomes they think are a lot more likely to occur. So when the under is extremely juiced and you're able to get it minus 122, that's pretty ridiculous value. So the second play I have is right there. So we want to go to pitcher props. Then we want to go to Rodon, and we want to take his under. So now you can see if we were to create this 2-pick parlay on Underdog Fantasy, so just these 2 picks, so just 2 picks, you're getting 20 to win 60 on Underdog for any 2 picks. Doesn't matter what you select. On DraftKings, you're getting 20 to win 54. So we're getting value, right? Whereas if I were to take the over on DraftKings, even just for one of these, then I'm getting 20 to win 70, right? DraftKings thinks the under is a lot more likely to hit for Carlos Rodon's strikeouts. So that's the second play I have. Next play I have is Marte under 1.5 bases. So we'll go back to batters props, and we can go to Marte, and we can take him under 1.5 bases. So unfortunately, this is in the same game. So now you'll see, the parlay doesn't work. So we're not going to be able to track how much value we're getting initially, because you can't create this parlay on DraftKings, right? You can't select 2 outcomes from the same game into a parlay. You could with a same game parlay, but that's a little different because we also have a pick from a different game. So regardless, this is the second pick I'm going with, or third pick I'm going with. Ridiculous value on the under for Marte, right? Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker in the world, and BetOnline, both pricing this at minus 144 and minus 143. DraftKings has this all the way down at minus 155. Seems pretty good at minus 122. Then we have CJ Abrams to record a hit. And we have Assad under 4.5 strikeouts. A lot of value in every single play at minus 122, right? Enough to beat the VIG, beat the juice, and actually be a mathematically profitable play. So I ended up hitting it, which you can see right here, 5 picks to win 10 grand. Should be a fun night. First game starts at 6:35. So what's going to happen is this bet's going to cash. Then this game's going to start, and this guy's going to get a hit. And then he's going to get a hit. And then this guy's going to strike out every at-bat, and he's not going to strike anyone out. So hopefully it's a fun one. Hopefully this is a banger, and let's make some money. And as some bonus picks, there's a variety of others on OddsJam. Just using real-time data to inform our betting decisions, that's how you do it, and let's make money.